This is show 46 of the Cloth Diaper podcast. Today's episode is joined with Julie, and she will be sharing her experience childcare cloth diapering at a childcare facility. Wow, it's only been 1 week since our last show. The thing is, I have done a lot of interviews, and I have a lot of great content and a lot of great stories to share with you. So I am going to drop them a little bit more regularly until my queue is not so cleaned up. If you're new around here, the Cloth Diaper podcast is a somewhat regular show dedicated to everything cloth diapering. We talk with parents, brands, and retailers around the world about their cloth diapering journey, experience, or whatever story they need to tell. This is an opportunity for us as a cloth diaper community to sit down and connect and listen to the different ways that people do things. I don't believe in one right way to do things. I believe that there are a lot of different right ways, and the best way that the cloth diaper community can come together is to support and empower each other through the decisions we choose to make. If you want to learn more about that, you should check out my book. I know, it feels really spammy, but a girl needs to advertise her book on every podcast episode. So my book is about cloth diapering, and you can find it on Amazon ebook. It is called Cloth Diapers, The Ultimate Guide to Washing Textiles and More, or maybe Cloth Diapers, The Ultimate Guide to Textiles, Washing and More. I wasn't really sure how to label it, but if you search my last name, Bailey Bowman, Bouwman, you will find it. So besides talking about my book and all those other things, let's get started with today's show. So today I am joined by Julia, who we have been chatting for well over a year to get this show happening. We are talking about her childcare experience and how she manages cloth diapering at childcare. I think this is a really important conversation for anybody looking to return to work this summer, September. On to our conversation, and I will see more of you next week or the week after. Bye.
So my name is Julie. I am in Wisconsin, and I work full-time out of the house. I work in nonprofit accounting. I am mom to a 3-year-old, almost 4-year-old. His name's James. He's awesome. And so I guess why we started cloth diapering, really the main reason was financial. So being an accountant, right, my whole is numbers.
Yeah.
So when we found out we were pregnant, I kind of had the sticker shock of like, oh my goodness, I'm going to spend how much money on daycare? I'm going to spend how much money on disposables? So,
like the whole child?
Yeah, on the whole child. Yeah. It was kind of a no-brainer at that point to buy cloth diaper. I think it also helped that I had a previous coworker who had cloth diapered, and she introduced me to the modern cloth diapers. Because before that, I had that assumption that diapers were still flats and pins and just the old school, right? Yeah, so modern cloth is so much closer to disposable and much easier to use.
So then, did you know that you were going to, I assume you were going to return to work?
Right.
Yes. And how did you think about how cloth diapers would sit into that situation of childcare? That's not a conversation we're really having a lot. So
Right. It's not. So just a little background. We started cloth diapering when James was 5 weeks old. I was still on maternity leave at that time. Of course, we have a little less maternity leave in the U.S. than in Canada. So I went back. Which I think is partly why I'm not super well versed in childcare and cloth diapering, because kids go back at a year and it's kind of a different game. But when you have to go back earlier, it's really present and really front of mind. Yeah. So I went back to work when James was 10 weeks old.
Oh, wow.
And we were at a daycare at that point that I honestly didn't even ask them if they would cloth diaper.
You just showed up.
We didn't use cloth diapers. That daycare didn't work out. We left that daycare. When James was about 5 months old, we left that daycare. It wasn't. That's
the story of daycare. If new moms are listening, that's what we do. We jump around, trying to find the perfect fit. Yeah,
right. And so thankfully, I actually thought to ask the next daycare, and they were on board with trying them, and we completely lucked out.
Were you the first kid they had cloth diapered, or did they have experience before?
The infants room teacher had cloth diapered her children, or one of her children, I think, the oldest, one of them at some point. So she had some experience. That helped a lot.
Oh yeah, that definitely, it's such a learning curve for a lot of people. And that's kind of like, how do you support them in that is kind of part of the equation sometimes. But if they know, then it helps.
Yeah. By the time James was about 2, I want to say, at the same center, he's been at the same center now since he was 5, but by the time he was about 2, I think there was about 4 families, including us, that cloth diapered there.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Little cloth diaper revolution going on in your childcare facility. So how did childcare and cloth diapering, like, how did that shape what your stash looked like? What did you build your stash with the thought of cloth diapering, or was that an afterthought? And then what does your stash look like as a cloth diapering mom who sends her child away?
That's a great question. So it might take a little longer to explain it because we have
go ahead.
Unique situations.
We got a whole half hour today, so.
So we started cloth diapering with flour sack towels. Yeah, like just the towels and covers. So I used flips, and they worked great. And the whole setup was pretty reasonably cheap.
Okay, and really good for a little baby.
Yeah, really good for a baby. We started daycare cloth diapering at 5 months with those flips and inserts. We found out pretty quickly that the daycare teachers weren't as comfortable with using that. So I wanted to work with them, and I decided to go the route of finding something that was closer to disposable. So a pocket diaper with Velcro or hook and loop. I searched online and found some pretty awesome sales on Hawaii. I don't know if I'm saying that.
Cool. Yeah, I know what she's talking about, the KAWAI brand. I also don't really know how, but Kawaii, yeah, exactly. However we should pronounce it, has been pretty popular this month. I'm recording this podcast in May, and I have seen their name everywhere on Facebook. So it's funny for you to bring it up again. Just like maybe I should reach out, figure out how to pronounce their name, and learn more about them. But yeah, they're supposed to be a pretty good, reasonably priced diaper. So a great thing to add to your daycare stash.
Yeah, they were reasonably priced. They had some awesome sales on past style inventory when I bought them.
Oh.
And I think I got the diapers for, I don't know, a couple bucks a piece, I think.
Score.
It was so great. And because they were so cheap, I wasn't concerned about losing or ruining them or anything to do with human error of someone new using cloth diapers or the wear that they would experience, at daycare or whatever that may be. I wasn't concerned.
So how many diapers do you have? Do you have a full week, a couple days?
Good. So I knew that I wanted enough diapers and inserts that I could get an entire week without diaper folding and prepping. So that's different than diaper laundry, right?
Yeah.
But I wanted enough that I could prep on Sundays, put everything into wet bags, be ready to go to grab one wet bag each day and just go at it with that. I don't have enough time in the evening to be doing laundry and prepping diapers that are already washed.
So what was your number? That's
that's a good number. Question. Yeah. So I had 35 is about the magic number. So it was 5 days a week, one diaper on arrival, right? The diaper he wears to daycare, 5 changes during the day, and then 1 extra per day, roughly.
That's not too bad. I mean, sometimes when I think about sending my kid to childcare with diapers, I get like this overwhelmed sense of panic that I need a dozen diapers. Yeah. But also when I talked with Shannon earlier last year about cloth diapering at childcare, she also had said the same numbers, about 1 on arrival, 5 at the center, and an extra. So that's like really reassuring, at least my perspective sitting here, like, oh, I don't need thousands. I just need a good amount. Yeah.
Yeah. So we ended up with a stash just for daycare, and then we had a stash that we used at home.
Okay.
So it's kind of different. We spent a little bit more on our stash, I would say, than you could probably get away with. We spent, I have the numbers here because I am an accountant,
Oh, okay.
So we spent $745 on our home stash, mostly because I tried different things. I
got carried away.
We spent $300 on our daycare stash. That's
okay.
because of the nice sales that I got.
Nice. That's not bad. So I thought you invested $1,000, and you, before we started recording, you mentioned that your son potty trained just before 3. So you got 3 years out of that.
Yep. He potty trained after 3. So
after 3.
That's also part of our story, is that my son is a very large boy. He was born in 99 percentile for both height and weight.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And has continued. So he outgrew his one-size diapers at about 26 months.
Oh, so then what did you do?
So then I had to invest in sized diapers, and I found large diapers from Fuzzy Buns.
Okay. Definitely out of business now.
Yeah.
But larger diapers, if you guys are listening, there are lots of brands now that sell larger diaper. I also had the same experience, Julie, in that my son he's now 50 pounds. He turns 5 this year. So we outgrew diapers. We're pushing it. He was potty trained though just before 3. So we didn't quite, we kind of like squeaked by, and it was summertime, and there were all these other little factors that didn't make it so bad. But yeah, it can be really hard if you max out a diaper. And so did you continue doing that at daycare then with the Fuzzy Buns and the larger diapers?
Correct. Yes. Yeah. So we did it all the way through potty training.
Okay. Awesome.
And we spent $300 on those large.
Oh, okay. So now you're at $1,200 investment.
Yep.
Yeah. And you probably got the Fuzzy Buns at a good sale price, but you're not the norm. You're like an exception, because not everybody has to upgrade. We're just the unfortunate story of your large. I mean, they're wonderful kids. Hopefully are you planning on a next child?
We are actually expecting.
Oh,
just found out last week, actually.
That is so exciting. Are you planning cloth diaper your next child?
Absolutely.
And do you want to do this whole cloth diaper at daycare, cloth diaper thing?
I do. Yeah. Absolutely. So again, going back to the numbers, right? Because I spent so much on my stash, if I use them again, then I save more money. So.
You get to save way more money. Yeah. That's the awesome part. Without the same investment, or like not having to spend the money the second time on your second child is huge relief, right? It's like
absolutely.
You're living your life large while your friends are wondering what's going on. What was your biggest challenge with the whole cloth diaper and childcare thing? So what was your biggest cloth diaper challenge when it came like in the cloth diaper sense, since that's what we're talking about today?
Yeah. So I think I had a couple of challenges. One was coming up with some unique solutions to common daycare policies. So, for example, our daycare requires everything to be labeled with a child's name, everything that you send. Well, I'm not going to want to label a cloth diaper with James' names just for resale value, right? I don't want to be permanently marking a cloth diaper. So our solution to that was buying these little tags off of Etsy that it's a female snap. It snaps right into the male snap of a Rise one-size diaper.
Yeah, those are so cool.
A tag with his name on it, yeah. Also, the poop containment, I would say. Okay. Some daycares, they want the poop to be completely contained for hygienic, whatever reasons. Okay. So I sent extra wet bags so that they would have a wet bag for poop and a wet bag for pee. And that was all zippered in one, contained to whatever they needed to be contained for their licensing.
How many wet bags would you send in a day then?
Yeah, so I sent two, right?
Okay.
So one that the diapers went in and then one extra. So two would come home, one bag would be pee and one bag would be poop.
Yeah, and definitely if you guys are listening, touch base, like that's one of those, it's pretty common to hear amongst childcare centers. Sometimes they'll require like a wet bag for each diaper, depending on how much extra they want to be with their childcare regulations. But yeah, it can really vary there for sure. Was that the only special thing per se that you had to do for them, or did you do anything else a little bit different with your diapers?
No, that was the only special things that we had.
Okay.
Just those two things, the labeling and then the payment. Yeah.
Was there anything that surprised you or was really easy about cloth diapering and childcare?
I think that what surprised me the most was their willingness to try it. At the first daycare, I didn't even ask if they would cloth diaper. And so the second one I did, and I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
They were uncomfortable with what they didn't know, especially if we had teachers that didn't have experience with cloth diapers, but working on getting a diaper that's closest to disposable for them, helping them understand that you put it on exactly like a disposable. You just take it off and don't throw it away. just that knowledge, right? That to pass along that knowledge that it's a lot like disposable.
Oh yeah, I don't know where I guess maybe the misconnect is just that modern cloth diapering is so simple and flats, pre-folds, and snapping and folding, all that. It was not, but totally right. It's just like you put it on and you go. And being open, I'd say, like, if you guys haven't listened to the other episode, just being open to walking somebody through that whole process, like they just need to know, because they are scared sometimes of the unknown. But if you show them, it can be a learning curve for everybody.
Right.
Yeah. What do you think is missing from this? Like when we talk about this, question I had for you was about, we talk about cloth diapering. I talk about cloth diapering a lot. I don't talk about childcare, and I don't talk about daycare because that's not my story to begin with. And I mean, as a blogger, my life is a blogger because I'm a stay-at-home mom. But what do you think, like, we should be telling parents more about this childcare and cloth diapering? What do you think is like a story that we're forgetting?
Yeah, I really think that it's just the realization that it's going to be hard.
Okay.
I mean, cloth diapering and working full time, it's going to be hard. It's hard. It's hard. You encounter hurdles cloth diapering as a stay-at-home mom, right?
Yeah.
Cloth diapering working, we encounter hurdles too. They're going to be different. Our struggles are a little different, but it's going to be hard. It's a struggle. What were some of your biggest struggles then, like cloth diapering as a whole, that maybe you didn't expect to come across? I think just the time, because we didn't have, it's about a 45-minute drive to go to work and come home, 45-minute each way. So we get home about 6:30 at night, and then it's dinner, bath time, playtime, whatever you can fit in, bedtime. And then now you're doing dishes, and now you have to do laundry, and now you have to do this, and this.
Yeah. Maybe
you get to sit down and sit on the couch for 20 minutes before going to bed. I mean, it was the time.
So the time constraint. How did you get your wash routine into your work routine? How did that blend in?
Right. So I definitely knew that I didn't want to be prepping diapers. As I said, we did it on Sundays. So my routine kind of looked like, on Sundays, I would fold and stuff all the diapers for the week for home and daycare. I would stuff it into one wet bag, one for each day. Each wet bag had 5 diapers plus 1 wet bag for poop. I think that we all mentioned that before. The whole wet bag would go to daycare. Everything would come home. So then at the end of the day, I would rinse poop diapers and start a pre-wash cycle. That was every day. And then I just, honestly, I let my diapers sit in the washer, right? I just opened the washer.
Yeah.
And then knew that on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, I was running my full wash cycle.
Okay. So you would pre-rinse them every day you got home?
Yep, every day.
Oh, interesting. What about if you wanted to do other laundry that wasn't cloth diapers?
Oh, okay. So I'm a little outlier with this one too. So my husband wasn't quite on board with cloth diapering. And the way I got him on board was buying a second washer for diapers.
Your story is you're not the only one. I've heard that before. You're not the first one to tell me that.
Yeah. So we found a cheap $20 washer on Facebook Marketplace.
And so you just had your cloth diaper washing machine, and that's how you get away with letting your... I was like, what is she doing? Yeah. Like, I have other clothes I need to wash sometimes.
Yeah, very true. I forgot that we have a second washer, so it was easy.
I mean, the rest of your story is eerily familiar. Like, it sounds like a lot of working parents do this exact same thing. They do a big wash on Sunday, and they pack and they prep, and they have this routine that is very similar to yours.
Yeah,
but that helps solve a lot of that little questioning I was starting to have. A second washer really helps. Probably really enjoy it even now that you're not cloth diapering.
You bet I do. Yeah. Don't tell my husband that I even wash clothes in there. You know, he might be disgusted a little bit by that, but
hopefully he doesn't listen.
We'll see if he does.
That's your one hack. So you wash diapers then like 3 times a week? Is that what I was hearing?
Correct. Yep. Yeah. Tuesday, okay. Thursday, Sundays. Mm-hmm.
And was sticking to your routine does that really kind of solve a lot of that kind of chaos feeling that sometimes I have?
It did. Yeah. Yeah. So it's funny because like I needed a routine, right, to get out of that chaos, to get out of the this is hard, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think that it's important to be flexible, right? So if your routine's not working for you, tweak it and move on. Try again. Try something different.
Yeah.
There isn't a one size fits all. Just because I wash 3 times a week doesn't mean that you're going to be washing 3 times a week and it's going to work for you.
Yeah, I think like Taya from Baby Boo Diapers, she does a solid once a week. Some people do it once a week. Some people do it daily. You just kind of like got to find what works for you, but also doesn't make you go crazy.
Right.
Yeah. It's like, and finding that balance can be a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we hang all of our diapers too, so we don't dry anything. Our dryer's not used for that.
Okay, so a little bit more time needed. So I guess like if you've got the size of the stash that you have and you're washing every 3 days and you're hanging to dry, that really kind of helps not overwhelm the entire system if we think of cloth diapering as being start and finish. I'm curious about what you used in your diaper when you're a kid. This is totally kind of off topic.
Oh, that's fine.
I'm curious about what kind of inserts you were using. It's not really off topic.
Nope,
what kind of inserts you were using when James was getting bigger?
Right. So we went through some different combinations.
Okay.
And that would add to our cost of stash.
Yeah.
Well, what ended up being the winner for us, leak proof for him, was FST folded insert on top of a hemp insert. So we used Thirsty's hemp inserts.
That's a good combo. Cool.
Yeah.
And did you find that the flour sack towel was big enough when he was bigger?
Yep. I'm trying to think of how I folded it. I think
Did you fold it really long or something? Because my son was really big, and that was one of my problems with flour sack towels, is that I found it was really short, and then making sure that it sat up front was really hard.
I believe, sorry, I'm just trying to go through the motions of how I folded it. I folded it in half, and then in half, and then in thirds. And it ended up being about the size of an insert. So James was also a flutter at nap time.
So you sent a nap time diaper?
Yeah, we sent a nap time diaper. So it was just a different insert. I used an FST on top of a organic cotton half flat folded.
Okay, yeah.
I found that it absorbed faster than the hemp, so that the flooding didn't happen as often.
Okay. That's some good insight. So to wrap this up, we're almost at our half hour. What is your biggest recommendation for any working parents or aspiring working parents? What's that one piece of advice that you'd love to give them today?
Yeah, so I would say just have a couple things, sorry.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Find a support system or a motivator to continue through the grind, because it's a long haul without somebody or without something motivating you. I like my motivator, I had people telling me that I wasn't going to work, I would quit, that Pampers was easier than cleaning poopy diapers, that I couldn't do it full-time working in cloth diapering.
Hard enough, like we already have so much other like stuff getting pelted at us. Like,
yeah. So my motivator was to prove them wrong.
It's a good, solid choice.
Yeah. Also determine a routine. We talked about a routine that works for me. Find something that works for you, but don't be afraid to try something different if it doesn't work. Mix it up, change it up. And then also working as a team with your daycare provider, because they might not have seen cloth or might have hesitations with cloth. I always say, like, knowledge is power. Give them that knowledge to understand cloth and to make their own decision that cloth is really okay. Like, it's really similar to disposable. You just don't throw it away.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like, and that's a really good way to summarize up everything that we've just talked about for the last half hour. Thank you for taking some time today, Julie, to chat with me about cloth diapering and childcare. I love hearing these stories, and I am so excited that you're having another little one. That's exciting for you.
Thank you so much. I had so much fun.
Okay, so this episode was brought to you by Julie Randall. Julie is a mom of one, expecting another one on the way. If you want to connect with Julie or learn more about her cloth diapering experience, she does have an Instagram and a blog. So you can find her on Instagram at momlifeloveloved. So at momlifeloveloved. Her initials are JAR. Or you can find her blog, momlifeloveloved.blogspot.com, and I'll include a link to her cloth diaper breakdown stash, which has, she's saying here in her email, fun graphs. So some of you might also be interested in that, and I'm going to go share that over on my Facebook page as well. Thank you so much for joining me this week on the Cloth Diaper Podcast. The Cloth Diaper Podcast is brought to you by stories of cloth diaper parents around the world. I have lots of fun new stories coming up around the corner, as well as we'll be figuring out a way to celebrate my second birthday. Yeah. And don't forget, you can find my book on Amazon.com, The Ultimate Guide to Textiles, Washing, and More by Bailey Bowman. Until next time, bye.